points per game. But I love what they recruited there, and I'm going to keep my eye on them because they're a possible sleeper for me. And Arizona State is at 125-1. Yeah, I think you might get better odds there just because they're going to have a rough start. Moving on, you have Michigan, 0 5-star, 4 4-star. Discuss more about them later. Vanderbilt, 2 5-star and 1 4-star. Pretty good for Vandy. Very good for Vandy, actually. Then who'd they get? Darius Garland, point guard, 6'3", out of Tennessee. Then you also have Simisola Shitu, I think Shittu. He was a 5-star out of Vermont's Academy, power forward at 6'9". Yeah, Vanderbilt did a great job recruiting there. Obviously, I'm not sure how high they're ranked. Looks pretty good. To reach the Final Four, they're 40-1 and 175-1 to win it all. So we'll keep an eye on that team. Next, North Carolina, and that's kind of low for them. 2 5-star and 1 4-star. Yeah, definitely low for them. They got the number 2 overall with Nasir Little, though. 6'7", small forward out of Florida, Orlando. And then you have Kobe White, shooting guard, 6'5", out of Wilson, North Carolina. So that's their start recruits. Not going to get much value on them for the championship. Just their name themselves puts them at, let's see, 10-1. Yeah, forget that. So moving on, we have Notre Dame, 0 5-star, 4 4-star. Mississippi State, 0 5-star and 3 4-star, 1 3-star. Man, Mississippi State, great job. They return a ton of production. Michigan State, 0 5-star and 5 4-star. Michigan State, that's not as good as normal. Then you had USC, 1 5-star, 2 4-star. USC, who did you nab? They got Kevin Porter Jr., shooting guard out of Seattle, Washington. Pretty good. Keep our eyes on USC. They always disappoint, right? Then you have Florida, 1 5-star and 2 4-star. The Gators. The Gators are always a force. And Andrew Nebhard from Thornhill, Ontario. Point guard, 6'4". Man, when you bring these Canadian guys in, you wonder how good they really are. Their competition might not be as good. Always something to think about. And then you have, for the number 20, Stanford, 0 5-star and 3 4-star. So, some of those teams I'm not super high on, but I just want to touch on some of the teams that I am a little bit more high on here that are not in the Big Ten. I like Kansas State. They're a top 20 team right now. They return pretty much everybody. Xavier Sneed. How good did he do in the tournament last year? He was amazing. He's another clutch performer. Kansas State is a team I love at 100-1. I think that's one that we're going to be on early because I just see these odds getting worse for them. I see them just starting to win immediately. They made that run all the way to the Elite Eight and got beat by Loyola. And I think we remember that game. Loyola, you just couldn't stop them. They had God on their back with Sister Jean, right? But they're a team that I'm going to be on. Probably the first one that I obviously just discussed. Then you have Who would be next here? Now Tennessee's ranked in the top 10, but they're an SEC team that did great, made it to the tournament. I think it was at least the Sweet 16, and they return everybody as well. But you're not going to get quite as good odds. They're around 35 to 1 to win it all. And, we'll see. We'll see how the injuries happen, how they, come to fruition if they do. But, just right now, I think Tennessee is more of a weight team. And at 25 to 1, it's 25 to 1. It's not worth it. SEC's pretty tough, and they did a great job last year, if you remember. SEC put like 7, 8 teams, whatever, into the NCAA tournament. So Auburn is a top team, but they had a couple people departing. Mustafa Heron, guard, 16.4 points. Deshaun Murray, forward, 10.1 points. They got one top 4-star recruit in Austin Wiley. But like I said, they're just a little bit too high up for me. I believe Auburn is 50 to 1. I'm going to wait on that one as well. The next team that I want to discuss here is Mississippi State. Seems like I kind of just blowing through the SEC here. Mississippi State is one that I like a lot, and here's why. They were 25-12 last year, 9-9 in conference play. It was a tough conference, ton of upsets, and they got snubbed for the NCAA tournament. Snubbed. They return everybody. Everybody. Okay? Quindary Weatherspoon, Eric Holman, Nick Weatherspoon, Lamar Peters. They are going to make a run this year. They had a great recruiting class for them, like I mentioned. And any team that makes the NIT gets snubbed, I love to be on. They are at 70 to 1. I believe... I found them at 100 to 1 on 5-dimers. I'm taking Mississippi State as a future bet to win the NCAA championship. And these future bets pay out so high, and you might have to hedge them in the tournament, so don't put a big bet down. It's so hard to hedge when you do that. Start laying minus 300, minus 400. That just adds up super quickly, and then all of a sudden you realize you can't even make money off it no more. Just put small bets on them, and then decide when you want to hedge, whether it be the first round, second round, or final 4 possibly. It could be the first right away if they're playing a tough team, Sweet 16, or Final 4, or maybe the Elite 8, something in the middle there. But yeah, it's worth it at Mississippi State at 100 to 1 or 70 to 1, I believe. The next team to discuss that's not in the Big Ten. LSU. Well, we touched on LSU. Let's talk about Syracuse a little bit. Syracuse returns everybody as well. So 23-14 last year. Tyus Battle, 19.2 points per game. O'Shea Brissett, 14.9 points per game. Frank Howard, 14.4 points per game. You're like, looking at all these points per game, you're like, wait, Syracuse didn't score that much last year. They played defense. But, looking at this returning production, there's probably some good value there. Syracuse listed at 45 to 1. That's one you'd think about. But the ACC, they're tough. They're tough. There's going to be some losses there. But that's one you'd think about. You might not, you might not get those odds for a while if, again. So, not going to jump on that. But I certainly wouldn't have any problem if you did. So, I like Syracuse. Cincinnati, I think they're going to be overrated. They lost 3 guys. They were a top team last year. Jacob Evans, Gary Clark, and Kyle Washington. only return Cumberland and Justin Jennifer. No. Fade Cincinnati. They're definitely a fade team this year. So it's nice to know your fade teams because you don't just make money on the teams you're on. You also make money on the teams you know are overrated by betting against them. So got to love doing that. The next team is ranked around number 29. It's Marquette. And they returned pretty much everyone except for Andrew Rousey. Andrew Rousey was a beast, scoring 20.5 points per game. But they returned Marcus Howard at 20.4 points per game. The kids got older. A good 4-star recruit in Joey Hauser coming in. And, I think if they grew up a little bit, they're going to be a force in the Big East. So Marquette is one definitely to think about here. And Marquette is laying, let's see, to reach the Final Four, I got them at 22-1. I'm trying to find the tournament one, and it's not listed for some reason. But you would think that, they're at least 50-1. I wouldn't have a problem if you took Marquette. The next one I want to talk about is Central Florida. Oh, football force and a basketball force, right? They're the top 50. They had a 19-13 record. A.J. Davis left at 12.2 points per game. And I don't know why they're ranked so high. They have 3 returning players. None of them really stick out to me. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of a deeper dive. Maybe there's some good transfers coming in. And I just don't know what the hype is here and why they're ranked in the top 50. So this right now would be a fade team for me unless I hear more. Oh, it looks like there's some injuries. Yeah. Taco Fall was one of their beasts, and he went out. So we'll see. Aubrey Dawkins is a Michigan transfer in, and he was another injured player. So it looks like they get some guys back. Aubrey Dawkins is the son of the coach, Johnny Dawkins. So now we figured it out. Still not sold, but we figured it out. Next team that I want to cover. Let's look at Wichita State. They're in the top 50. They lost every single player. They lost Landry Shamet, Shaquille Morris, Connor Frank Kemp, Rashard Kelly, and Zach Brown. They lost every single starter, and they're ranked in the top. Sorry, Wichita State is a fade team this year as of right now. They have 1 recruit ranked in the top 50, so Wichita State was a force. So possibly find some value fading this team. The next team I want to talk about, St. Louis. St. Louis returns 3 starters, only lost 2. So I guess the reason that they're in the top is they got some good transfers in. They got a Drexel transfer and Tremaine Isabel. They got Jack Raboyne from a JUCO. And they got South Florida transfer Luis Santos. Maryland transfer Dion Wiley. They got a bunch of transfers in, and I think that's why they're ranked kind of high. So transfers, I guess, normally are second-rate top players. They're someone happens to be just better than them, and they're not going to beat them out. They play for like a Maryland or whatever, and they decide to transfer in, or they're from a lower school and they've done better. So whenever it comes to transfer teams and they're ranked kind of high, I definitely have to wait a little bit. So I thought St. Louis was worth mentioning because of that. The next team I want to mention is Louisiana, the Ragin' Cajuns, right? They were pretty good last year. They returned Jakini Grant, a senior forward, 13.7. Malik Markini, senior, 8.1 points per game.